Welcome back, Buffs fans. I'm Taylor Stesky, and alongside me we have Christina Robin. Now, Christina, I know you love football. Are you excited to talk about Pro Day today?
Well, Taylor, back in the day when I used to be a left tackle, I too dreamed of going big time. The league was my dream.
I did not know you played football.
Well, I used to rep out 20 on bench with a 35-inch vert before I retired from powder puff, but no big deal.
Well, folks, we won't be playing any football today, but we will be talking about football as well as the end of the women's basketball season. Football season ended in Vegas yesterday. The Buffaloes played number 1 Arizona State in Boston, 66-49, with Peanut Tutelay out with a concussion. Alexis Robinson led Colorado with 19 points, including 4 3-pointers, and Colorado kept close as they pulled within the 1 point in the third quarter, but ASU went on 11-2 run, and that was too much for the Buffaloes to handle. Colorado ended their season 12-18 with just 2 Pac-12 wins.
That Pac-12 tournament game was the last time seniors Alexis Robinson and Kennedy Leonard would don the black and gold for the Buffaloes. Both of them were freshmen in 2015 and 2016. Since then, the Buffaloes have gone 51-73 and 14-58 in the Pac-12. With 1 postseason tournament appearance, they made it to the WINT in J.R. Payne's first year. The 2016-2017 season, Alexis Robinson finished 18th in CU history in scoring, and Kennedy Leonard is the all-time assist leader at CU and 7th in scoring. After the game yesterday, Leonard and Robinson talked about the importance of J.R. Payne on their life.
I've definitely learned that Coach J is one of the most caring, she's definitely she's been really big in my life, for real.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the exact same. I'd run through a wall for Coach J. I'd run through a wall for, I'd do anything for her, and I think we all would. And I don't regret my decision to stay for a second, and I know Lex doesn't either. And yeah, it hasn't been the easiest road, but easy times don't make, the greatest people. Tough times do. So if anything comes out of this, I know we're all going to be pretty tough people. So.
Forever Buffalo Lisa Van Gore has been selected to the Pac-12 Hall of Honor class of 2019. Van Gore is the only player at CU, man or woman, to score 2,000 points and grab 1,000 rebounds. She's CU's career scoring and rebounding leader and was a 4-time All-Big 8 selection. You can watch her be inducted into the Hall of Honor on Friday, March 15th during the men's basketball semifinal game.
With the famous Bill Bruin Walton sitting courtside for the USC Buffs game last night, it wasn't even close to Colorado. Colorado dominated the beginning, holding UCLA under 36% shooting, even though they were the highest scoring team in the Pac-12. Luckily for us, Jack Carlo was at the game and has all the information for you.
Well, it was Chick-fil-A night here at the CU Event Center, and it must have been Sunday because UCLA did not show up. The Buffs cruised past the Bruins 93-68. But the real question is whether or not CU can claim that top 4 spot in the Pac-12 standings. Tyler Bay led the way for the Buffs with 27 points, tying his career high, and he also had his 4th straight double-double, tied for the Pac-12 lead. The Buffs started the game hot from three-point land. They had a balanced offense with threes coming from Shane Gatling, Deshaun Schwartz, McKinley Wright, and Lucas Seward. Shane Gatling sure loves playing UCLA. He scored 26 points tonight, just 2 short of his career high of 28 last time the Buffs played the Bruins. He was also 10 of 10 from the free throw line, and the Buffs are 18 of 20 for the whole game. After the game, Tad Boyle said the Oregon State loss earlier in the season was a huge turning point for this team. The Buffs have been on fire ever since, and they will look to claim that top 4 spot in the Pac-12 standings this Saturday against USC. I'm Jack Harlow from BuffSports Live.
Before that game against UCLA, the Buffs beat Utah. Taylor was there on Saturday night and has the story for you.
Colorado finished the game today 71-63 against the Utah Utes. Tyler Bay and Evan Batty were on fire down in the post against the Utah Utes defense. Tad Boyle had mentioned in the press conference that he was impressed by the toughness of McKinley Wright too as well. Colorado's biggest mission this game was to shut down the three-point shooting team of the Utah Utes. They are known as one of the best three-point shooting teams in the Pac-12 as well as the country, including Van Dyke, who didn't score any points this game at all. Colorado has a homestand coming up against UCLA and USC. This is very important for seeding because the first 4 teams reserve a bye in the Pac-12 tournament. That's all we have for you today. I'm Taylor Tedeschi, and this is BuffSports Live. The last 2 wins against Utah and UCLA were big in terms for seeding for the Buffaloes. If Colorado beats USC this Saturday and Utah and Oregon State lose, the Buffaloes will get top 4 spot at the Pac-12 tournament. And first round bye with these last 2 wins, lowest Colorado can finish the season is 5th and the highest is 3rd.
Put away your notepads, your sticky notes, your VCR machines. It's time for our BuffSports Live weekly trivia question. This week, our question is about the women's basketball team. As you might expect, the team has an average player height of over 6 feet. If the women's basketball team laid down head to foot across the main court of the CU Event Center, where would they reach? Half court? The 3-point line? All the way? We'll have that answer for you at the end of the show.
Well, that's going to be really interesting to figure out. Definitely don't go anywhere. Up next, we have Vinay with Buffalo Badlands.
We are the University of Colorado sailing team and still the only college sailing team in Colorado. Last year, we traveled to 5 regattas and hosted our own using a fleet we bought with community support.
This year, we're raising money to purchase a safety boat that will take care of our sailors and lead effective practices to get them in tip-top shape to kick stern at regattas.
Weather changes happen quickly in Colorado, so we need to be prepared in case anyone ends up in the water. A safety boat with a proper engine will help make sure we can get people and boats to safety in the event of a capsize.
Safety is our team's top priority, and this boat will help us prepare for worst-case scenarios. This boat will put us on track for being the safest, the fastest, and the most effective team in our conference.
Donate today to help us reach our $4,000 goal and get CU Sailing promoted better. Share to everyone you know to spread the word. With your help, we'll be on our way to be a safer and more successful program.
The season is over for Colorado women's basketball team, but it's not over yet for the rest of the Pac-12. 4 teams from the Conference of Champions are currently in the top 25. Vinay Simlot has more.
Welcome back to Buff Sports Live. I'm Vinay Simlot with Buffalo Badlands. You know, it wasn't that great of a season for women's basketball here at CU, but it's been a great season for the Pac-12. They're a powerhouse in women's basketball. Going into the Pac-12 tournament, 5 Pac-12 teams were ranked in the AP Top 25. That's Oregon, Stanford, Oregon State, Arizona State, and UCLA. We'll go backwards to forwards, starting with UCLA. They started out the season slowly. They won 10 of their last 12 games, though, including wins over Oregon, Utah, and Arizona State. That's why they're ranked right now. Head coach Corey Close has done a heck of a job with this team. Next up is 20th ranked Arizona State, who beat CU yesterday, but they lost 3 of their last 4 going into the game against CU. They've dropped a few spots in the poll. And then we've got Oregon State, who's ranked 11th. They beat the powerhouse, the South Carolina Cox, at the beginning of the season, and they split the Civil War with Oregon. The Beavers have all 3 all Pac-12 players. They'll play tonight at 8:30. Up next, Stanford, ranked 7th in the nation. Remember, they put that second half shellacking on the Buffaloes. They beat 9th-ranked Tennessee in Tennessee earlier this season, and they're led by Alana Smith, who's averaging almost 20 points per game. Lastly, there's the pride of the Pac-12, the Oregon Ducks. Last season, they were the 2nd seed in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Notre Dame, who ended up winning the whole thing. Head coach Kelly Graves is building a powerhouse in Eugene. And UConn hasn't won in a few years. The women's NCAA tournament is up for grabs, so why not Oregon? Sabrina Ionescu, the Pac-12 Player of the Year, is a triple-double machine. Maybe Oregon will make the Conference of Champions actually champions this year. Guys, back to you.
If you missed her, she's back. Darby Kiernan is back in Boulder, just like your roommate. No, she's not playing. She's a volunteer assistant coach for the women's lacrosse team, trying to help Coach Ann Whitten with the Buffaloes overcome a bad 4-game start. When she played here, Kiernan was Colorado's all-time leader in points, starts, goals, assists, and other things too as well.
Sticking with women's lacrosse, senior Miranda Stinson and Julia Lasella have been named to the 2019 T. Warrenton Award watch list. The T. Warrenton Award honors the top male and female college lacrosse players in the United States. 5 men's and 5 women's finalists will be announced on May 9th and invited to the 19th annual T. Warrenton Award ceremony in Washington, D.C. on May 30th.
The lacrosse team starts the Pac-12 play tonight against the 15th ranked Stanford. This is their 100th game in the program history. The Buffs will be in Berkeley on Sunday night and then back here for their home opener next Friday against the USC Trojans. Colorado is just 1-3 in their 4 games, but they're still ranked 20th in the nation.
CU men's hockey player Trace Jablin represented the Buffs and the United States. Playing for the U.S. men's national team on Tuesday in the 2019 Winter World University Games in Russia, Jablin scored a goal to pull the Americans even with the Russians. With just 39 seconds remaining in the second period and a heated, hard-fought third period, the Russian team struck quickly, and there would be no miracle. The Russians won 3-2.
CU hockey was not done with the Winter World University Games. Buff Joe Kinsella netted a hat trick against Hungary. Kinsella scored just 5th, 7th, and 8th goals for the United States, closing the door for any hopes for a comeback against Hungary. The Americans dominated through the game, outshooting their opponents 55-15 and holding them scoreless through the 50 minutes of the game. The U.S. men's national team has gone 1-2 this tournament, with upcoming games against both Slovakia and Japan before the quarterfinals.
The second woman we would like to acknowledge who represents the ideal display of character as a Buff is Carol Callan. She is the USA Women's National Team Director, who is also responsible for all USA Basketball women's team programs, also serving as a liaison to women's competition committees. She holds a master's in business administration and a master of science in physical education from the University of Colorado.
Wow, that's awesome. Christina, I can't wait to hear more later on in the show. But we're going to take another break right now, and we'll be back with more on skiing and Buff banter with Alder Shannon.
Now walking into the classroom at 6'1", 235 pounds, Brendan Mackey.
Dude.
D still sends Galen a friend request. Denied by Galen. Margolis on his way to class. Well, Stern slowly in front of him. Margolis jukes, splits the defense, and he's home free.
What are you doing, dude?
Gruber, O'Brien with speed on the backhand towards the net. O'Brien scores! What a goal, Luke O'Brien! Drove wide on the backhand, towed it back to the forehand, and
The ski team wrapped up the 6th annual NCAA tournament in Vermont last week. They didn't end up finishing as well in Giant Salomon as they had hoped, dropping from 3rd to 5th place towards the midway point. With 218 points on the bright side, the Buffs still have had a chance at their 21st national title. It's likely down to these top 5 teams, with the New Mexico in distant 6th for the title NCAA title. Freshman skier Michaela Tommy led the team, placing 4th as well as earned first-team All-American honors in the process. Senior skier Philip Foratek was 7th after his first run in a time of 57 and 84 seconds. Colorado has ended up coming up from behind to win numerous times, including back in 2013 when they had the biggest comeback in NCAA history.
As we approach the end of the track and field season, the champs are on the horizon. The CU athletes will be participating, 3 women and 2 men. Joe Klecker and McKenna Morley are participating in 2 events apiece. Both will be running in the 3,000 meter and 5,000 meter runs. Coach Wetmore says Colorado's goal is to see how high the 5 players can get in the scoreboard.
The football program held its annual pro day earlier this week. Adler Shannon has more on this week's edition of Buff Banter.
The University of Colorado held its annual pro day on Wednesday afternoon. With the NFL draft just over a month away, it is always a fantastic opportunity for CU football players to show off their athleticism and skills to eager NFL scouts. 11 former CU football players participated in the day, who all around were pleased with their results. Doing various events, such as the 40-yard dash, bench press, vertical jump, and 3-cone drill, many players were pleased with the outcome. Former CU running back Kyle Evans had the second fastest 40-yard time of the day at 4.5 seconds. With the fastest 3-cone drill at 6.93 seconds, as well as 26 reps on the bench press and a 36.5-inch vertical jump, he wowed scouts with his all-around athleticism. Other standouts of the day included former receivers Kabion Ento and Juwan Winfrey. Ento entertained scouts with a remarkable 41.5-inch vertical jump, which would measure in at 4th for his position at the NFL Combine. While also running a 4.5 second 40, he truly took advantage of the opportunity to showcase his skills. Winfrey managed to show off his renewed explosiveness in the 40 after an ankle injury sidelined him for much of the season. Running a 4.5 flat, he surely took advantage of the prominent stage and will now look towards the draft. While the offensive representatives surely made the most of their pro day, the defense was not far behind. Former linebacker Drew Lewis and cornerback Evan Worthington impressed scouts in their respective workouts as well. Lewis proved to be remarkably athletic, weighing in at 229 pounds while running a 4.5 40 and having the second longest broad jump of the afternoon. He certainly made his case to the NFL teams present. Cornerback Evan Worthington appreciated a second opportunity to audition for football's largest stage after being the only CU representative at the NFL Combine. While he ran a 4.63 40 at the Combine, he was able to blow past his previous time, running a 1/10 of a second better at 4.53 seconds. However, due to muscle tightness, he was unable to continue participating in Pro Day. Adler Shannon, reporting for Buff Banter, back to you.
Another pioneering woman from the University of Colorado is Jane Wall. The former sports writer from the Denver Post served as the very first athletic director from the 1974 to 1979. She was an amazing part of the CU athletics by helping introduce female varsity athletes. The heroic woman helped many of our female athletes have a chance to play in Colorado, as she will be remembered forever. After the break, we're going to have Rapid Fire with Kelly Laxton.
And the answer to that trivia question. Stay tuned.
They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time? Yes!
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
It's a busy weekend for the Buffs. Come support your men's basketball team as they play the USC Trojans tomorrow. Since last year, this has become a tense rivalry. The action all starts at 3 in the CU Events Center. The men and women's ski team also compete on Saturday. The Alpine and overall championship will conclude with these slalom races. They're looking for their 20th NCAA championship, which would make them the second skiing program in the country to reach that milestone. Tune in live on the NCAA website at 7 a.m. Mountain Time for the men's first run, followed by the women at 8. Moving into Sunday, the women's lacrosse team continues their road trip with a face-off against the Bears in Berkeley, California at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. They've had a tough start to the season at 1-3. Their only win came on the road against Virginia Tech. so they will be going into the weekend with strong motivations to take another one. On Monday, the men's golf team competes in the Lankin San Diego Classic. They play their first 2 rounds on Monday and will finish the tournament on Tuesday at the San Diego Country Club. I'm Kelly Laxton. This is Rapid Fire. Back to you.
And now it's time for the answer to that trivia question. Remember when we asked you if the women's basketball players all laid down and lined up, starting at the baseline, where would they end up on the basketball court? The answer is the opposite free throw line. The collective height of the women's basketball team is 78 feet and 4 inches, which is not quite the length of a 94-foot basketball court. But they would pass that free throw line. For the record, the men's team has a height of 110 feet and 4 inches. Good gracious.
Our tweet of the week is actually tweets of the week. Our first one is from the Buff Zone B, written by Brian Howell, who quoted Alexis Robinson and Kennedy Leonard saying how big Coach Payne has been in their life. The video we saw earlier in the show, and Coach Payne responded saying, I love these two, they're family. Come on, Coach, you got us all in tears.
Well, folks, we have to say goodbye, but the good news is that even when this show ends, we will still be breaking the mold of the gender binary.
That's right, Christina Robin will go down in history as the first female undrafted free agent. She will be breaking the gendered ideology that only men can participate in football.
That's right, Taylor. Now down! Omaha, Omaha, set, hike.
We'll see you guys next week.